And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're talking about Machi Koro 2, the sequeling. Now, Machi Koro is a game that I originally played here on the Dice Tower years ago. I played it when it came from Japan. It was a thin little game. I fell in love with it instantly. I had never played a game like this before where you rolled cards to get resources off of, the rolled dice. You shouldn't be rolling cards. Rolled dice to get resources off of cards. And it without a board like Catan. It was like Catan without a board. I thought it was fantastic. And then Pandasaurus picked it up, came out with multiple expansions for it and more. And then there was even a Machi Koro Legacy. This is the second version of Machi Koro that has just come out. Now, as the years have gone by, Machi Koro has dipped a bit for me. I don't dislike playing it, but there were a few things that I thought other games did better, like Space Base, which is one of my favorite games. I did like Machi Koro Legacy a lot, and this one here, I was like, oh, so what did they change in it? Now, there are some changes in Machi Koro 2, but I'll tell you this, it's really like Machi Koro 1.5. Now, that doesn't make it bad or anything, and I'll tell you this, it's definitely an improvement on the first one, but keep that in mind as I go over the rules, which I'll do right now. There are 3 decks that are placed in the middle of the table. Establishment, 2 decks of establishments, 1 through 6, 7 through 12, and then a deck of landmarks. You're going to draw 5 cards from each. In the establishments, that means 5 different cards, which means if you draw a card that matches one that's already out, notice I already have a hamburger stand, I'll place this one on top, and you keep drawing until you get 5 different. Each establishment is going to show a number from 2 to 12 on it, sometimes multiple numbers, and it's going to come in one of 4 different colors, red, blue, purple, or green. The landmarks are showing 3 numbers on them. These are the prices of them. Each establishment has 1 price on them. Players are going to start with 5 coins. And then before the game even starts, you're going to take turns going around a table, buying 1 thing at a time, and you can buy up to 3 things. So maybe on my first turn, I'll buy a flower garden. And then when it comes back around to me, I'll buy a cornfield, which is replaced here. And so that cost me 2 and 4. I have 1 coin left. Maybe on my next turn, I'll buy a convenience store. These cards I'm going to place in front of me in order of numbers. So it would just be 4, 4, 7, and that's just for convenience sake. One player goes first, and on a player's turn, they can choose whether to roll 1 or both dice. When you roll those dice, you're going to compare those dice to the number on your cards. Nothing happened here, but maybe I decided to roll 1 die, and I rolled a 4. Whenever dice are rolled, if it's your turn, your green cards operate. So if I roll a 4 on my turn, this says I get 3 coins from the bank. Blue cards work on anyone else's turn. So if Billy Bob rolls a 4, I get 2 coins from the bank. And if it's my turn and I had both these cards, I would be getting a cool 5 coins from the bank. Red cards happen on other people's turn. And in here, I'll take 2 coins from the person who rolled an 8. I'll steal 2 from them. And purple cards are on your turn only, but they're a little bit different. They usually affect other players. Like here, take 3 coins from each opponent if I roll a 7. The order matters a bit much. Red cards always go off first, then blue, then green, then purple, then any special buildings that you might have. Now, why are players collecting coins? You're passing this around, collecting coins and coins. At the end of your turn, you can buy something. So again, you can buy one of the establishments, or more importantly, you can buy a landmark. When you buy a landmark, if it's your first landmark, you pay the first number. If it's your third one, you pay the final number. Also, the third one wins you the game. When you build a landmark, sometimes they will bring a new rule into play. This says if you don't build anything on your turn, you get 5 coins from the bank. And that's all players, it happens. Sometimes, though, when you take it, it will happen immediately. This one, when I build it, take 2 coins from each opponent, the person who built it only. This one says if you roll doubles, take 2 coins from each opponent. And that happens for the rest of the game. If you roll a 12, get 8 coins from the bank for the rest of the game. And every landmark in the deck is different. There's some weird ones, like the launch pad. If you build this, you win the game. But you'll notice it's quite expensive if it's your first building. The loan office, you can only build this if you have no landmark and everyone else has some. The publisher is a little cheaper than the other ones for its first, so is the observatory. So there's these different landmarks that are out there. that's pretty much the game. You're just going to go around and around, rolling the dice, collecting coins, activating these, buying new buildings until one person wins. The best thing about the components are these coins. Plastic coins. I really like them. They were cardboard tokens in the past, but there's something about plastic coins that work well for me. The decks themselves are nice. The cards are not amazing quality, but they work really well. If the card combos off other cards, it mentions it here. Like this one gives you 3 coins from the bank for each one of these flower establishments you have. So that's just a way to remember that. The cards have different types in the top corner, and the purple ones are rarer in the deck because they cause a bigger deal. But there's a lot of different cards. Then these, I like the artwork. I've always liked the artwork for Machi Koro. So this is pretty much the exact colors and everything of the original Machi Koro. I suppose the question won't be asked, I'm sure, can this stuff be combined with the original Machi Koro? Not the landmarks per se. I'm not sure the other stuff will work really well either too because of these backs here. The game does come with these reference cards, and this is my one negative thing because, the last positive thing, I like this box insert, coins, cards, easy. But who was this player aid made for? I mean, this is a normal size card. Can you read it yet? I mean, this is like a centimeter away from the camera lens right now. These are not possible to read. So the only good thing for this reference card is I just remember the order of colors. Red cards happen before blue cards. That's a big deal. And then on the back, if you want to know the ratios, and I'm very amused by the fact that a 1 has a 1 out of 6 chance to roll on a die. So does a 2, a 3, a 4. I find that it's amusing that they put the odds for that on there. But this does kind of let you know the spread of numbers in the deck. Machi Koro 2 is a very, very easy game to teach people. If you know people who don't play a ton of games, this one is easy to jump in. Now, we played this live on our channel, so you can see how a version of this game goes. It's not a slow game. It works. It's very fast. Now, not everything about it is peaches and creams. There's definitely a very strong take that to this game where you might roll dice in your turn and someone's like, thank you, I'll take 6 of your coins because I built 3 of these hamburger stands, and and I played a game before one time of it where I played in Machi Koro 2 and someone just took all my money all the time and I ended up with one of the things at the end. But there's a few reasons that doesn't bother me too much. One, that's also very group dependent. Some groups don't buy a lot of the red cards because red cards only work if everybody else has blue and green cards. So if everyone buys the red cards, they're all taking no money from each other. And 2, some people just don't like doing it. I don't mind it. It is very much in your face, but the game is so quick. That's the other thing. So the game is quick, so it's a little easier to jump into and oh, you stole my money. Oh, you so-and-so. Oh, you know what? The game's over. Let's play it again. And it really isn't a very long game. The changes from this to the first one. So for Machi Koro 1, there was just a bunch of cards out there, like the original deck builder Dominion, a bunch of cards that you would buy and put in front of you. Now the expansions changed it to a sliding line, which I don't know if that made the game better, but here the sliding line works because they have a 1 through 6 and a 7 through 12. That's a big change to this game that I think helps a lot because there's always some interesting numbers that are out there. The other big change to the game is the way that the extra things that you build, the landmarks, work. The landmarks were of the first game, I didn't find to be that interesting. There was 4 landmarks. You flip over them as you built them. Well, by the way, going down to 3 makes the game faster. You would build one that said now you can roll 2 dice instead of 1. So I was like, you know, as you do this, you know, you're waiting around to get that landmark built before you can roll 2 dice. Here, right off the bat, you can roll 1 dice or 2 dice. And then the landmarks will add fun rules. Hey, you roll doubles, get another turn. Well, that's interesting, and it works for everybody. And so I like that concept. I like those things added in. I also like this game allows you 3 buys before you start. In the original Machi Koro, you got 2 buildings, and there was a lot of roll dice, and nothing happened for a while. Here, there's a good chance stuff's going to pop on turn 1. This game does shine, I think, best with 4 or 3 players. 5 works fine. 2's okay, but there's a lot less interaction between the players. But it is, again, it's a game. I can set this game up in like 5 minutes. I can teach it in less time than that. It's easy. There's laughter. There's cheers. It works. It's a great after-dinner type game. You have some people over. You pull this game out. You teach it. It's easy to play. They're likely going to go buy a copy of it. Do you need this if you have Machi Koro 1 will be the question asked, especially if you have Machi Koro 1 with the expansions. For me, this replaces it. This game does everything Machi Koro did and better. Would I like there to be more cards for more diversity? Maybe. For now, this one's working for me, but I can see that, expansions for this are probably on the horizon. But I like the few changes. The extra buys at the beginning of the game. You always roll 1 or 2 dice. The landmarks are all unique and interesting, and the deck's split into 2 parts. Again, this feels like someone streamlined the original game. I don't know that I would call it a second edition per se, but it still is something that's fun to do. So that's Machi Koro 2, and I'm Tom Vasel, the first and the only, I guess. Until next time, we'll see you later. Dice Tower Judgment approved.